Hey, what's going on? It's Joey Myers from the Hitting Performance Lab. All right, Mr. Gabe, let's take a look at your swing. I brought up Anthony over here on the right. I have both your swings synced up at the same time, same point. And what I want you to see is you got great forward momentum. Great. Both you guys almost look very similar. Okay, Anthony gets a little bit more of a float than you do. That's why he's picking his foot up a little sooner. He kind of floats, teeters, and then lets his body go forward, where you're kind of picking it up and then going. So maybe experiment a little bit with a float, but we're getting pretty good forward momentum here. It doesn't look like you're stopping yourself too short. But here's the thing I want you to look at. Now your head position, let's look at that real quick. So a little bit better. I think we're still kind of trying to bury it. Now Anthony, he's shrugging his right shoulder. He's doing the opposite of you. You're bringing your head down, and he might be bringing his down just a little bit, but he's really shrugging his shoulder, where your shoulder I don't think really is that big of a problem, because we see a lot of light gap in here. But we're still kind of burying that chin a little bit, but now instead of burying it at the chest, at contact, we're trying to bury it over that left shoulder. So you can see here that if we draw a straight line, now we're not going to have our head perfect back in this position here, but I wish I could have, or had the capability with the software to show you 3 swings, so I could have shown you Charles, which Charles is having his own challenge that we're working on. But at contact, you can really see his head is just relaxed and back here. And Anthony's even is a little bit more relaxed and back than yours, as you can see here. And if I drew a straight line for Anthony's spine, which you can see his spine pretty well right here, you can see he's got a little bit better alignment there with his head. But that's just something, like I said, you're just going to have to work. It's a daily basis, not even hitting, but just working on whenever you're lifting heavy things, that you're just going to have to be aware of that and make sure that you can take make your finger with, or make an L with your fingers, index finger resting your thumb on top and your thumb on mid-sternum. And we just want you to relax that head back a little bit. But even more important, so you can work on that. That's something obviously we've been working on, and it's going to take some time. You look good upon your finish, but it's up until your finish. I like that letting go, that release with the hand. Looks like Anthony, you guys look almost pretty similar. But as you start, now look at your shoulder angle differences with Anthony and you. So when we're working on, when you're good when we're on dry, you get that shoulder angle down, but it's still kind of level. See how it's level? Whereas Anthony's, see, yours is level here, where Anthony's is more of that down angle. So gun sight down at the ball. So you can see that that's going to hurt you a little bit. But what I want you to pay attention to is the barrel. Now we talked about how we walk. Obviously we walk with opposite hand, opposite leg coming forward, whereas when we take a step with our left foot forward, our right arm swings forward. Well, that's because our pelvis rotates one way and then our shoulders counter-rotate the opposite way. That's why we walk like that. Now what's happening here with our bat, I'll erase the shoulder angle thing, but shoulder angle might actually help with this, might actually put us in a better position in what I'm talking about here. So watch Anthony's bat, his barrel, and watch when it moves. Watch it, watch it, watch it, watch it. See how it kind of stays in line with the back of his head? Doesn't really actually move until about right there. Then we start to see some light gap open up between his head. And now look where your barrel is. So if we're looking at distance between your head, whoop, a little long. If we're looking at distance between your head and the barrel right now, and Anthony's, look at that. Now that line could actually be shorter. But if we back it up, okay, notice when yours, so look at your bat, your barrel, stays in line with your head. You guys look almost identical in this frame here. But then at about right here, we start to gain some light between your head and the barrel. So what's happening is our heel hasn't even hit the ground yet. And remember, our heel is the timing signal. Once the heel hits the ground, it sends a timing signal up through your leg into your pelvis to get it to rotate. Now, we're hitting, right? So we want to rotate our pelvis open, so to the left. Now when we open our pelvis to the left, our shoulder should actually be counter-rotating the opposite direction. So when your heel hits the ground, your pelvis is going to be turning this way around you to your left, while your shoulders are going to be, when it gets that signal, your shoulders are going to be going this way, right? But what's happening with when we see your barrel start to, we call it bleeding the barrel. So you see that barrel, the light gap between your head and the barrel starts to happen too soon. Now let's count how many frames this starts to happen. So you got right here 1, 2, before Anthony's starts to, 3, 4, 5. 5 frames before Anthony's even comes off from the back of his head or even shoots forward. And you can see Anthony's hips have already started to open because his heel has sent that signal to the pelvis to start to rotate open, but his shoulders kind of delayed a little bit and went the other way. So he gets that nice rubber band effect, and that's why I wanted to show you Anthony's swing, compare yours and his, because he gets that really well. Now, we've come a long way. I decided with this video whether I wanted to show Charles and the head position or I wanted to show your old swing, which we can maybe do next time, but I think this is more important. I want you to really focus, do a lot of your mirror stuff. I know you've been doing that a lot lately. You're working hard on this, and it shows. That's why I wanted to show your before swing. When we first started, I wanted to show how far you've come, because you have come a long way. Now it's just gory details of making sure that we hold our position with our upper half and don't let it release too soon. You know what I'm saying? You follow me here? So what's happening is we got to keep the catapult loading system. Make sure we got down shoulder angle, and this is on live pitches. So we need to make sure we're working on live pitches with all this stuff. Get that Coach's Eye app and use that to see during live sessions what you're doing. Set it up on a tripod and just really see what you're doing so you get that feedback. But keeping that barrel behind the head longer and not allowing those shoulders to open up too soon. And if we can do that, we get the shoulder angle down, we keep this barrel nice and snug for a little longer, about, like I said, 5 frames, so that could be a second or a half a second. And I think we're going to be a little better. That head position might actually fix itself. We'll kind of see and maintain. But don't worry so much on the head right now, but worry about getting that shoulder angle down and keeping that barrel alongside the back of your head a little bit longer until those hips really start to open. All right, brother? Keep working hard, man. Looks good.